When you think of stock exchanges, you tend to think of New York, London, and Hong Kong. But did you know that Cincinnati was long the home of one of the country's oldest exchanges? Even though it closed up shop 20 years ago, its legacy is about to be revived. In this morning's U.S. Bank Economic 360, U.S. Bank Vice President and Senior Portfolio Manager Mike Denneman and Business Courier publisher Jamie Smith talk about Cincinnati history and how it plays into the future of stock trading. Gentlemen.
Thanks, Peg. Mike, thanks for being here.
Good morning.
So who even knew that Cincinnati ever even had a stock exchange?
Right? Yeah, so we did, and for a very long time. And even though it closed up 20 years ago, what Peg just said a moment ago, they're thinking about reviving what is left over of the Cincinnati Stock Exchange. So, of course, everyone is familiar with the New York Stock Exchange, the big board, as they call it, but not a lot of people know that Cincinnati had one of the so-called regional exchanges, ours having been one of the oldest, dating back to the 1800s, and it operated here for more than 100 years before it folded up in 1995. So, believe it or not, a lot of great stock trading history right here in Cincinnati.
So it had quite a history to it then.
Oh, absolutely.
It wasn't just here.
No.
I mean, it had a good history.
Yeah, and a really cool history at that. So, you know, as we said a moment ago, it dates back to 1885, and it was, for most of its history, what we call an open outcry trading system. So what we see on movies and in the TV, floor traders in suits walking around the exchange trading shares of stock. Its trading floor was down on 4th Street in the Dixie Terminal building.
Okay.
And of course, a lot of local icons traded there. Shares of Kroger and Procter and CG&E. So, you know, think about it like a mini New York Stock Exchange right here in Cincinnati. But then transition came as they moved into the 1970s, and they moved away from that open outcry to what they call fully automated trading or computer-based trading. It's very commonplace today. You know, we don't think twice about it, but at the time, it was practically unheard of. So Cincinnati very much a pioneer in introducing that, but that led to further evolution. Operations gradually shifted to Chicago. That was complete in 1995, and then that was the end of trading here in Cincinnati.
Well, talk about the plans to revive it. Why, and what are the plans?
Sure. So over the last 20 years, there's been more transition, and what was the Cincinnati Stock Exchange is now called the National Stock Exchange, and we know it's not in Cincinnati anymore, but it's not even in Chicago any longer. It's now in New Jersey, where they've traded, but recently, last year, they shut down operations. Volume was just not significant enough to keep operations going, but they've filed recently regulatory papers to revive the exchange. So if all goes according to plan, in a couple months, they'll be back up and running. So that's a nice continuation of our hometown legacy. So it's not in Cincinnati anymore, it's not called Cincinnati anymore, but it certainly has its roots here.
Well, as it takes roots in 16, you'll keep us informed, right?
Absolutely.
All right, can't wait to hear more. Thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
All right.